Okay, let's talk about this Epstein stuff really quickly here. I told you that it was not going to be earth-shattering. Today, the list is, at least some of it, the Epstein files, the Epstein list, whatever you want to put, it was released courtesy, in large part, of Senator Marsha Blackburn, who will join us in a couple moments. Credit to her for being all over this stuff. But, I told you it wasn't going to be what you want it to be. It's just not. That's not how it works. Think for a moment, just let's talk about why. Think for a moment about how many wealthy, powerful people did really bad things with Jeffrey Epstein. Wealthy, powerful people. Okay, you got that. Now think about the kind of attorneys wealthy, powerful people are able to get their hands on. Have you ever paid $1,000 an hour attorney? Neither have I, but wealthy, powerful people do. Now, think about all the legal loopholes and liability that comes with just dumping a list on somebody's lap where everybody will immediately assume any name on that list is some child trafficking pedophile. Of course, the lawyers have been all over this. Of course, look, it was always going to be disappointing. And look, I'll tell you again, sorry to be Debbie Downer, sorry to be Daddy Jesse, but mommy's gone, it's time for daddy. The JFK files are going to be disappointing too. If you ever lay your eyes on those, as I've told you many times before, it's going to be a whole lot of black marker through everything, because anything really, truly damaging that's in those things was long paper shredded, I don't know, probably about 1963. So it is what it is. But it is good that people are pushing forward. It's good that we're learning something. We need to know. I want to know how many wealthy, powerful people traffic in kids. It's just the most sick, depraved thing in the world. And so if people are on that list, I want to know who they are. Look, we've known names for years. We've known about Clinton. We've known that for years. Amy Robach came out and had a behind-the-scenes video where she said, we had Clinton. We know that. We know that Bill Gates' ex-wife told a magazine that she divorced him in part because of his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. We know some names, of course. Are we going to learn a bunch of new earth-shattering things? No. But maybe something's coming. I don't know. Let's talk to Senator Marsha Blackburn about it, because she gets credit for this thing really coming out at all. Joining me now, the lady who deserves all the credit in the world for the stuff we're finally finding out, Senator from the great state of Tennessee, Senator Marsha Blackburn joins me. Senator, I applaud you for being all over this when so many others weren't. It's hard to find something more sick and evil than trafficking women, but apparently that's been done by some very powerful people.
And what we know is this is kind of phase one of the Epstein files. This is information I've tried for years to get the FBI to release to us, and they have refused. So now that we have AG Bondi and Director Patel, we do have this first tranche. What you will see when you look at this is names from Ghislaine Maxwell's Black Book. You will see some flight logs. I do want to say this, Jesse, not every name that you see means they participated in this trafficking with Jeffrey Epstein. But some of these people may have just been in his orbit. Maybe they saw something. Maybe they would be willing to talk with the FBI. Our goal is to make certain that for the 254 women and children who their names are fully redacted, everything redacted, that we get justice for these individuals and that we stop the human and sex trafficking that is happening in this country. It is modern day slavery, breaking apart this human trafficking ring, which is $150 billion a year business. This is something we need to be focused on doing.
Amen, we sure do. The things I have learned about human trafficking and what goes on in this country and Cuba and Latin America, it's unbelievable to me. Okay, You say the FBI has been hanging on to these things. That really begs the question. Honestly, that's almost more evil than Jeffrey Epstein. The federal law enforcement arm, the premier federal law enforcement arm, has been keeping this stuff from you? Why?
Well, as the top Republican on the Human Rights Subcommittee, I've asked repeatedly for information about this because, unraveling these trafficking rings is like a puzzle. You get one piece and it leads you to pieces 2, 3, and 4. And then you begin to pull together the information around this. And as I said, the cartels have gotten involved in the human and sex trafficking. It is estimated to be $150 billion a year. It is pervasive. And we know that in the case of Epstein and what we've learned, there were 254 women and children that were involved in this. Now, in the records we saw today, there is information from the raid that the FBI did at Epstein's house. And this was before he was apprehended and before the trial. And as we all know, he died while he was in jail. And what we know now is that there are laptops, computers, phones, there are other items that were taken, and we had suspected that the FBI had these. We couldn't get them. We also know that there is video footage that was taken from his place there in Florida. We would like to have access to that to see who else is involved. Now, from some of the law enforcement notes that were revealed today, we do know that Jean-Luc Brunel, who was the French sex trafficker, who, by the way, died in a French prison awaiting trial on sex trafficking charges. We do that he was in Epstein's orbit. And so this gives us the opportunity to look more closely at that. Now, asking for the IRS records that are also yet to come is something that will show us who his financial transactions were with. And so, Jesse, all of this, like I said, everything we get is one piece of the puzzle. AG Bondi, Director Patel are on this. They're trying to find all of this information wherever it may have been kept or stored. And we anticipate that we will have more information we're able to bring forward. The American people want answers to this. They all agree. I talk to people every single day who talk about how revolting the crime of human and sex trafficking is and what it does to people. I talked to someone this week who was working with an individual who had been trafficked for an 8-year period of time. And they finally got away from it because they were pregnant and they gave birth. And so that is the way they were able to get away from this. But when you hear some of these stories, and you know that human trafficking is modern day slavery, it is imperative that we get the puzzle pieces and that we begin to hold these people to account.
That's my final question to you, Senator, the holding to account thing. Now, I understand, I'm not pretending to be some lawyer, that there's statute of limitations stuff. There's all kinds of rules and laws and things like that here. Is this going to end, or is it possible this ends with powerful people going to prison? Because that doesn't seem to happen very often.
And what we want to do is those people that participated in the trafficking of individuals, to have them held to account. So this is one of the reasons we've tried for years to get this information. And we will continue to do that. And then also it's why we're looking for the financial transactions on this, Jesse, because that will tell us who Epstein was working with and who his transactions were with.
Senator, Thank you for staying on this. Thank you for being on it for so long. You deserve so much credit for what came out today. Very much appreciate you. Thank you. It's freaking gross, man. And she's not wrong. It's slavery. I mean, you hear these stories. Have you ever heard these stories? It's a global business, trafficking in people. You didn't think slavery was over, did you? It'll never be. As long as there are evil people in the world, they will want to own and control and abuse others. It's friggin' awful. Anyway, I'm sure that probably made you uncomfortable, but I am right. I would thank you for coming to my YouTube channel, but I know how brilliant it is, and I know you love it here. So subscribe and watch. We're going to start really ramping things up and putting some funny stuff, some interesting stuff out there, some collaborations. Either way, my YouTube channel is officially the place to be. So stick around.